Another mortgage workshop webinar. My name is Joey. I'm one of the account managers here, and first thing I want to do is make sure we've been doing this just to confirm, make sure that everyone can hear us and also visually see the screen. So the poll that I've just launched there, if you all can go ahead and participate and let me know that you can hear me, then we'll go ahead and continue from here. Perfect, beautiful. Everyone can hear me, so I'm going to close out of that poll. So at this point, what we want to do is we're going to be discussing today is how to create what's called a master file. So I'll explain why and what is a master file here in a minute. Now we're also going to continue these workshops throughout tomorrow. It'll be our last session, so for those that again have the time to attend, it will start. The first one will start at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning Pacific Standard Time. That will consist of how to enter in government-regulated loans, how you would enter in upfront premiums, or maybe mortgage insurance that has to be plugged in and entered into those fields. There's a unique way to enter in an FHA, a VA, because of the upfront MIP, and also the mortgage insurance is a certain way that you want to make sure you enter it in so that it calculates correctly. So enough about me, and also the 12 o'clock has to do with the rent versus own. One of the reports that I'm going to briefly demonstrate today, but those show you how to put that together in a couple of factors on why you want to use that with first-time home buyers. So again, what we're going to be discussing today is why you want to create a master file. Well, when you create a master file, what this does is it allows you to access these links that you've already pre-recorded and be able to send it out easily to any clients that have questions, or maybe a realtor for that part, that depending on the video that you've put together on the presentation. So where most originators, what they're currently doing is they're creating these introductory videos or any videos in general by using a TCA in MortgageCoach and answering really the most common questions that clients ask them. So everyone is different type of clientele, so you determine what your most frequently asked questions are that borrowers or clients ask you over and over and over again. So for example, what price home can I afford? That could be one of the questions that a borrower has. Well, we can create what's called a purchase power report, which shows a couple of listing options, different listing options, and that can be an introductory video for yourself, sending it out to a client for a first time. And again, the whole concept is you're able to explain different price points for them to access at any time. The other thing is you probably said, what is my down payment, or how much should I put down? Clients have questions, so why not create maybe an FHA versus conventional and maybe other most common products that are in today's market or that you come across. So again, the options will be listed in place, and then the video will help explain that for anyone that you send out that to. It's going to be a generic video that you want to create, so this way you can send it out to anyone you need to. So another common question is this: what is mortgage insurance and should I pay it? Well, remember, with MortgageCoach, it's limitless. So you can put together a presentation saying, well, should I pay mortgage insurance? Maybe it's a lender paid MI versus borrower paid MI, if that works. Once you plug in the figures, it'll be able to determine and explain to the borrowers so they can visually see that. So the video, again, will explain, well, this is what mortgage insurance is. If you notice in this tier here, when you select the More Information tab, for example, and you can explain that to your borrowers and also highlight on the reports so that they can clearly see exactly what it is that you're referring to. So when we do that, again, it's the FHA versus conventional. It's another one. What is the difference between the two? Why should I go with the conventional versus FHA? Why is my payment a lot higher, and so forth? So you have a lot of things that you can put together with MortgageCoach. This is another report that you'll see on my sample links that are most common questions that we've asked originators. Why should I pay points? So again, the presentation will be able to show the difference between paying points or just paying an interest rate, or maybe buying down the rate. And again, you can explain that in video format. Another way, and this is one of the most powerful ways to really use is an introductory video, I should say. So what the introductory video would do is it's almost like you're virtually introducing yourself to a client for the very first time. So we do have originators that create an introductory video that explains who they are, how long they've been in the industry, and the type of service that they provide. So with the TCA or the open house or the rent versus own, or whichever presentation you create one of these for, they're seeing you visually, they're seeing your personality, plus you can also make reference that we create and put together one of these financial analysis for every one of our clients to help them understand their financing options. Because remember, when you create a report, it's really user-friendly. And when we send it out, it's an actual link that we create, and we copy it, paste it into an email. The client can then access it from wherever they may be. Maybe it's a question that a realtor has because the client has just asked them, they're at an open house. So again, the introductory videos will just allow you to easily copy that link, send it off in an email, or better yet, what you can also do is remember, because we have the Mortgage Coach mobile app, this is one of the unique ways that you can now engage with your clients a lot easier. So by being able to take their phone number, you can then type in your message, and by typing in your message, remember with the link, you're typing out the entire link of what you've created. And if it's to an actual listing, maybe it's a property they have questions about, you can go ahead and enter it in. So this is just an example of how easy it is. And then what you'll do is you'll just be able to send it off to your clients, and they'll be able to visually see it from that point. So again, you want to make sure that you access and create these reports so that it's easy for you to access them. So for those that have multiple or dual screens and you want to follow along, you can feel free to do so. And what we'll do is, when you initially create a report, we're not going to go through that process. If you've missed several class or sessions in the past, there is a beginner session that you can attend. I'm going to launch a quick poll just to see who has or has not been attending these courses, just to get a general idea. So the question is, have you attended past sessions? And if you have you attended just a few? Is this your first time? Have you attended all of them? Maybe you missed certain sessions. So only a few, perfect. And that's fine. The reason for these calls is, again, they are recorded, so if you missed a week, you can also email our support team. They can provide you with the list and the different training sessions that we posted, and this way you can visually see either one of them. So when we get in here, one of the things that you'll see right here in my first page is how may I assist you. That's the headline and title that I decided to use for today's training. So where the master file sits, just to show you what that is when you select this view all option, this is where all your filing, or all of your clients that you've created a report for will be stored. The moment you select it, as you can see, you would enter in a first and last name, which is, you can do that as well. The easiest way would be to select the search field down here. And what that'll do is that'll bring up every file that you've put together. So the first headline that you see is, how may I assist you? So I'll show you when we get in here how we would start in putting that together. Now what I'm doing is putting a couple of quotations here in front of it. So this way I don't have to search it through this entire log that I currently have. What this will do is this will identify it and place it at the very top. So again, the whole concept is, as you can see, I've just recorded an introductory message. So this will go out to anyone that has questions about financing. This will now go to them with a video introduction. I'll show you what that looks like shortly. So the whole concept is, and I've already recorded or actually added a strategies file. So anytime borrowers have questions or maybe an LO, what I can simply do is, you can see, I can easily access it. So questions about FHA, I simply just highlight it, open the presentation up, copy the link, send it off to whomever that may be. Cost of waiting, maybe a client is on the fence, not sure whether or not they should buy in today's market. A realtor has just contacted you and just provided you with some details. Why not send a cost of waiting? You can specifically tailor it for them. So you can simply just take this link, you can copy it, and then you can personally tailor it for that client that you're going to be sending it out to, if it's not a generalized message. Should I pay points? Rent versus own, purchase power. So again, this is what it's supposed to look like. So we're going to start with, how may I assist you? I'm going to go ahead and select the introductory message. And for those, I'm going to share with you where you would start. So just give me a moment here. Now, for those that are just starting off and this is your first master file you're putting together, then what I'd like for you to do is select New Client, and it'll take you to this exact same section that you currently see me on. From here, instead of individual that you see located at the very top, this will show your borrower's first and last name of the report you're putting together. However, I want to switch it to a marketing report because I want to be able to send this to the masses or anyone in general. This will obviously be identified as own. Friendly name is just an introductory message that you've put together, or friendly name is the nickname that you want to provide so that you can easily find it. And I'll show you in a moment. So I'm going to move forward. This is a purchase, obviously. Entered in the purchase price. Remember, anything in red is what's most what will affect the presentation. And truly, I can skip and bypass these two windows. I'm not going to really need them. They're not going to apply to or change the presentation that we're demonstrating. So what I've done is I've put together, and in this introductory video is, you'll notice I have the minimum down with 3.5% down. Obviously that would be in this case would be an FHA. Then I put 5% down, low payment, and that I use as a conventional, and also lower payment, 10% down. So with the products I have in place, you determine what that is. It's specifically up to you. Now let me get back to the main page here. So I'm not sure if everyone can follow on there. So here we go. So let me get back to the main page here. It looks like my screen was frozen there. So there we go. Screen. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to quick. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'll start off here, and at the end I'll demonstrate what I was referring to. I'm not sure if you were able to actually see the actual PowerPoint that I put together here. So I'm going to show it quickly here, and then I will get back to it. So again, the whole concept is why you want to create a master file, and that's what we're going to be demonstrating. A couple of most common questions. Again, what price and the price of home that I can afford. Most common questions, what about down payment? Should I put more or less down? And these are most common questions we've asked our originators that we currently train, and this is what we've come up with. So what is mortgage insurance, and should I pay it? So again, as we go, this is what type of questions that come across, the phone or the clients that we work with. You may have questions that we may not have shown here, or most common questions that are not here. But again, you know your clientele, you know your demographics better than we do. What we want to do is provide you a tool that as you use it, you can use it effectively and quickly send out anything that you need. So that's what we were demonstrating. And again, the virtual part of it is you're virtually introducing yourself for the very first time by using the video in itself. They can connect with you. They see your personality. And the thing is again, we're creating a link. The link itself is what you're providing to your clients. As for those that have been attending the last few sessions, you'll know that the moment you copy this link, you place it into an email, and then you can send it out. You can add your video as well. So when you select the video format, it'll then go to a certain part of the presentation, and at the very bottom you'll see select or record message, and I'll show you what that looks like shortly. But again, the concept is when you send out a text to a client or a realtor, you can easily type in the message, and then at this point they'll be able to receive this message. They can access the link, and for those that have downloaded the MortgageCoach app, they will be able to see that immediately. Now, if they haven't, then again, once they select the link from their mobile, it'll reroute them to download the MortgageCoach app at that point. So if this was for a specific property, again, you would enter that in, you would send out the message, and the borrower would now have that introductory video or message that you've recorded with the sample report that you've now sent out. So great. So here we go. We're going to go ahead and get started. So again, in the home section, folks, you want to make sure you select new client, okay, when we get there. Now, this is to give you an example, because I'm not sure if you were able to see this, is again in this view all section here to the right. This will store and bring up any clients that you've put a presentation together for. And the thing is, you want to select the search option at the very bottom here. So again, this will bring up any clients or any folders that you've put together. And as you can see here, this strategies file is exactly what you want it to look like. So you'll notice here is I have FHA versus conventional, cost of waiting, rent versus own, should I pay points, purchase power. So when you do that and you put together these links, again, depending on the most common questions you receive, you can now send an email like this to your realtor and explain to them that anytime a client has questions, if it's a first-time home buyer, then send them a rent versus own. If it's a client has questions regarding financing or different options, then send them that link as well. So your realtor can now access these links, and they can easily access it from their iPad or from their computer and send it out immediately. So today we're going to be using, and as I demonstrated or showed you earlier or talked about earlier, is how may I assist you? That's going to be our first headline. The introductory message that you see here is the nickname that I provided. That's what's going to separate each one of these files. So now I'm going to open that file. For those that are creating this for the very first time, you're going to select New Client. And when you select New Client, this is exactly what you're going to see is the first and last name. We're going to switch it and default it to marketing. And for those that want to use this headline, that's perfectly fine with me. How may I assist you? Or here are most common asked questions. You name it. You do what you please at that point. So the introductory message, the nickname is placed underneath here. Again, once you do so, you're going to advance. Obviously, this is a purchase. If it's a refinance, and you apply it that way. So maybe it's an annual mortgage review that you've created to help spark up some inventory or some interest amongst clients. So you send out an annual mortgage review to them as a general message. Say, have you had your annual mortgage review yet? and at that point you can go from there. Now purchase price, as we know, that's the most important. That will affect the presentation. Then at that point we would advance to affordability. But again, I can bypass these two screens and go immediately into the products. Now again, as you can see on my screen here is we have the minimum down with 3.5%, 5% down, and also 10% down. And these are the products that I chose to display on this introductory video. And then from there, once you add those products, you're simply just going to go, you go to the analysis section. You can make some custom adjustments, but because this is just standard, you don't have to make any changes. You will customize the report the moment you have an interested client, then you can make the adjustments at that point. Okay? And the way you can make that adjustment is, one, by the View All section and copying the link from there, or two, in this analysis section, you'll notice in this middle here, you can select this Copy Analysis. So as you can see, I can select Current Client, but if I do that, it's going to keep the same headline at that point, which is How May I Assist You? But what if I want to send it to a specific individual? Well, I select the Copy From Analysis option, and at this point, I would select New Client, and the moment I do that and I select OK, it'll reroute me back to the beginning. Then I can switch it from marketing to individual, make it specifically for that person. So if it's Mr. Purchase, then his name would be there. The products will still remain intact. Then when I get to the end to create the message, it will be personalized for that specific individual. Okay? So as you advance here, you notice contact information. You're not going to have to enter that in for the simple reason it is tailored to be a marketing presentation, so just keep that in mind. You're going to push forward here. Now here it's a total cost analysis that we're showing for now. Any of these products, of course, that you do not want to appear on the report, you can display. And then here, if taxes and insurance are not included, you want to make sure that you enter it in and identify that. You can also add to, maybe it's this is based on credit history, or you name it. You can put anything you'd like, and what it'll do is on the report, it'll demonstrate it with these two asterisk marks that you'll see on the presentation. Okay. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and move over to the preview section here, because that was the end. Now what you'll see here is we'll normally generate a link, and then at this point you will then click Add Audio Video, and that will pull up the presentation for us, and you'll see that at the bottom left-hand side it now allows you to record the message. Now what I have done is I recorded a message earlier, and let's see if it comes out now. See if I can preview it here. And as you can see, that's the way the video would pull up. Again, it would be yourself. You'll see the headline at the very top, How May I Assist You? Here's the couple of down payments, and now you go into your spill, smiling, of course, not slouching like I am, but again, you add your personality, you send out the message, and the thing is that for those that have access or can access, let's say, social media, remember you can also share this link, so this could be something that you post maybe on a fan page or Twitter if you have an online presence, or maybe your realtor as well. You can also do that way. So you've created your introductory message, you're satisfied with it, you're set, ready to go. I'm going to close this out, and let's go back and go to this analysis section. So now in this analysis section, we're going to use this copy analysis option, show you what it looks like. So now I click copy analysis, current client I'm going to leave it as, because remember we're using a master file. So as I select OK, what you're going to see is it reroutes me right back to the main page here. It's still defaulted as marketing, and again, if this was going to a specific individual at that point, I would now select individual, and then moving forward, I would address it according to them. Now we're going to change this introductory friendly name, and let's put together, let's say, let's see, what is another one we could put together? Let's go ahead and put together a rent versus own. I'm going to default this and switch it to rent. And again, we will be discussing and showing you how to create this report tomorrow. So I'm not going to walk you through step by step, but I'm going to demonstrate how quickly it is to be able to enter in and create a master file. Average rent, I'm going to use $1,500 for now. Annual rent increase, I'm going to leave blank. Now from here, I don't have to worry about affordability. I can leave it as is. Again, I'm going to assume I'm going to leave these products intact here. And then what I'll do is when I get to analysis on a rent versus own, I can now demonstrate to my borrower if there's a tax benefit, I can do that. But for now, I'm going to leave it as principal paid, and also to the right, it'll be listed as principal paid as well. Now getting to the end here, because again, I can go to contact, don't have to worry about that. When I get to the report select option here, As you can see, actual payments may differ at closing, and then you can add your additional content there. Now see that it provides you the option of total cost and also rent versus own, which is what we're using. So now at the end, I would then preview. I would then generate a link. And at this point, I can select Add Audio Video again, record my message for this rent versus own presentation, and tailor it towards a first-time homeowner and things that they need to know. So then again, when they can play the video, you can send it to them. They can play it over and over again. Now, I've just created a rent versus own presentation. Now, let's say that I want to put together, should I pay mortgage insurance? I'm going to copy this analysis here. I'm going to select current client to leave it intact again. This is going to remain intact. I'm not switching that, but I am going to switch the friendly name to should I pay MI. As I advance again, it's not going to be a rent versus own, so let me switch that back. So obviously I'm going to switch it back to own. So as I move forward, now it's going to apply towards a purchase. I don't have to worry about checking that off. It still has the same property or purchase price. I'm going to leave that intact. Products are still remaining intact as well, but now what I want to do is I want to update this to apply towards what I'm showing on the report. So let's see. Okay. So now what I can do is I can leave everything as is. I'm going to switch this to 5% down. This is not a VA. Let's see if I can do a conventional. Let's do conventional 10% down. So I've used the product template. It's all intact. I'm going to push forward here. My fees are intact as well because I've used the product template that I've created initially. Property impounds are in place as well. And now mortgage insurance, let's use 0.74. Now, as you can see, I've now readjusted and changed this first product that I initially copied. This is paying MI. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to advance forward, and I'm going to change this one as well. This is, let's assume, lender paid. Okay. So what I can do here is I can now copy from the initial product that I originally created using the copy from option. Now that'll bring over the exact same details. Okay, so now if I wanted to switch the interest rate based on the lender paid MI option, let's assume that it's going to go up. Let's assume, I don't know, let's switch it back to 8.75. Let's say that's the hit. I'm going to move forward. Again, as you notice, I copied the data. I don't have to change anything. It's all intact. I can now remove the MI, switch it from there, remove the 360. And now you notice that I have 3 different products. I can also use something like borrower paid MI, if that's an option. Okay. And by doing that, that's tricky because when you advance here in the second step, you have an opportunity to either use it as points, okay, or you can also enter them in the closing cost as an itemized fee if it has to do with a borrower paid MI. The moment you do that, and I'm just going to put it in points here, advance to the next step, and again, let's move that. Done. Again, you would go to the preview, generate link, add your video presentation at that point, and explaining any of these options, making any adjustments in the analysis summary section, and that's it. So as you continue to copy and use this format, this is what it looks like. So back in the home section, and you select the view all. Again, I'm still going to select the search option here at the very bottom. And once this pulls up here, now how many reports did we put together in this, let's say, 30 minutes? And it took me a little bit because I was explaining each and every single step. But if I was in a zone, I tuned everything out. I can then copy and continue to copy over and over again and create as many as I'd like. So we started off with this introductory message. We then copied in the analysis section and kept it as current client. When we got to the main client section at the very bottom, we switched it from introductory message to rent versus own, and we continued from there, got to the generate the link, record a video for that rent versus own. Then from there, we go back to the analysis section, click copy. We went back to the beginning and then created the should I pay am I. So as you can see, you can continue that roll and continue that motion until you create as many as you need to, and then again you can easily access them, text and send it to your borrowers or your clients right away, and again you have easily now connected and you can easily send these links out to your clients, introducing yourself or helping explain. You can also use it for a purchase referral. So maybe you have a borrower, or not a borrower, it's a referral link that you created, and send it out to everyone that you've funded a loan for, maybe afterwards, and say, thanks for using myself in the organization. If you have any friends or relatives that are interested in financing, here's a specific link. Send it to them. It does provide my contact information, and they'll easily send it. Now, when it's viewed from a mobile phone, remember that they can easily share that data. But then also your clients can share the data as well with whomever they'd like. So they have the opportunity to either share it with their friends and relatives, or again, they can easily send the link that you provide them via email, and they can forward that same email to anyone that they'd like at that point. Okay. So what we'll do is I'm going to take a moment to pause. That's the end of the session this afternoon's winter workshop. Remember, I'm going to recap here to make sure that when you are copying the reports, is that you can go to the analysis section here. You select the copy analysis. You would keep it as current client. The only thing that you would switch at that point when you get to each one of these sections is the friendly name, and as you advance, you would then make the adjustments necessary to each one of the products. Now remember, if you only want to display 2 but you had 3 with the previous, you can easily, in the select report option back here next to presentation, you can easily deselect any one of these options and they will no longer appear. So when you send it out, it's set and ready to go. Okay? Awesome. Perfect. So one question that has come through the queue here is how will the client know to access the link from their mobile phone and so they can see it? Well, one of the things that you can do is in the message that you send out, so let's assume you send out a text message. In the text message headline, what I would recommend is say, please make sure to download a MortgageCoach app somewhere in your framing, so this way they have an understanding that the moment they select that link, it is going to either reroute them or they'll understand that they have to download an app to help them visually see that. Or again, keep your realtors up to speed. Make sure they are aware that, hey, listen, anytime you speak with a client and we're working together with them, also make sure that they will, that we will be corresponding via email and also via link, either by text message and so forth. So you want to make sure you add that to your advantage. Other than that, any training assets that you may need, or actually if you need further training, what you can always do is you can email our support team, and they will provide you with either a beginner's session for those that haven't attended past, it's maybe your first time. We have beginner sessions every Friday at 9 a.m. So that will take you from beginning to end. That will show you exactly how this home section works, the new client, new partner, settings, and so forth. I recommend you attend if this is your first time. It starts at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time every Friday. And again, if you have dual monitors, you can follow along and go step by step. They go extremely slow, and they spend about 45 minutes to show you all the nuts and bolts of what you can currently see there. For those that have been using MortgageCoach frequently, maybe you have often questions, remember, by accessing that help option at the very top, you can leverage and access any training videos that you'd like. You can also submit a request to our support team if for some reason numbers are not matching or you can't figure it out based on what you're seeing. You can submit a request, subject, your email address, and also the link of the report that you're creating. Send it off to our support team. Have them take a look at it, and they'll be able to make the adjustments necessary to make sure that's working the way it needs to, or showing the numbers that you would like it to see. Other than that, folks, make sure you attend tomorrow, again, at 8 a.m. and also at 12. Any additional questions you may have, make sure that you provide them to the chat box, and we'll make sure that we answer those tomorrow for you. If I do not speak to you tomorrow, then take care and have happy holidays. And hopefully this upcoming year you make the adjustments necessary to help you in your business in using and leveraging tools, not just MortgageCoach, but anything else that you currently have access to. Take care, and we'll talk to you later.